my friends, brothers and sisters in industry, I sit here before you today not as a consultant, not as a salesman, but a witness to a truth that burns in my heart like a fire that will not be quenched. Stop the madness. These 3 words, simple, direct, urgent, they're not just a slogan on a screen behind me. They're a call to every one of you sitting and watching, a call to wake up from the slumber that has gripped American manufacturing for far too long. See this behind me? Uncle Sam, he's pointing at you, not someone else, not at the company down the road. He's pointing at you because the madness I'm about to reveal, it's in your plant. It's in your organization. And if we're being honest with ourselves today, and we must be honest, it's in your heart. The madness. Let me tell you about this madness. I've walked through the factories of this great nation, seen the machines, met the workers, sat in the boardrooms, and I've witnessed something that breaks my heart every single time. We are losing, my friends, not losing. We are being lapped on our own track. These numbers as to how we're losing, let's not look away from them. Let's look at them. In India, our coworkers, brothers and sisters in India have improved their overall equipment effectiveness by 41%. While we in America, the nation that built the Industrial Revolution, the nation that put a man on the moon, the nation that once made everything the world needed, we've improved by 8%. 8%. Europe, 18%. And us, 8%. It gets worse. It gets worse. But $50 billion, that's not a number on a spreadsheet, my friends. That's $50 billion lost every single year to unplanned downtime. That's wages that could have been paid. That's families that could have been fed. And that's communities that could have thrived. And here's what's really keeping me up at night. 70% of manufacturers are still collecting data manually. In the age of artificial intelligence, in the age of quantum computing, and in the age where a teenager can access the sum of human knowledge on a device in their pocket, 70% of us are still walking around with clipboards and pencils. The madness isn't just in our systems. The madness is in our acceptance of mediocrity. But let me tell you something more troubling, something that cuts deeper than any statistic, something that strikes at the very soul of what we do. There's a virus spreading through American manufacturing, not a biological virus. This is worse. This is a cultural virus. And its name is not my job. 3 words that have destroyed more potential, killed more innovation, and crushed more dreams than any economic downturn ever could. I've heard it 1,000 times. That's a maintenance problem, not my job. That's an operations issue, not my job. That's an IT's responsibility, not my job. And every time those words are spoken, a little piece of American excellence dies. You see, my friends, this virus creates silos. And silos are nothing more than walls we build to protect our little kingdoms while the entire empire crumbles around us. Listen to these numbers and let them sit with you. 35% higher maintenance costs because we're reactive instead of proactive. 25% higher turnover because people don't want to work in a divided house. 40% longer to solve problems because we're too busy pointing fingers rather than joining hands. 60% more unplanned downtime because your equipment doesn't care about your organizational chart. This isn't just inefficiency, this is insanity. And we've been doing it so long, we've convinced ourselves this is normal. Let me paint you a picture I've seen in plant after plant, factory after factory, across this great nation. On one side, you have operations, good people, hardworking people. Their mission, run the machines, make the product, hit the targets, meet the quotas, hit the throughput. We need it running now, they cry. And on the other side, you have maintenance, equally good people, equally hardworking. Their mission, protect the machines, prevent failure, schedule downtime, extend asset life. We need time to fix it right, they plead. And what happens? These two groups, who should be partners, who should be allies, who should be working together toward the same goal, they're at war with each other. Operations thinks maintenance is always in the way. Maintenance thinks operations is reckless. And while they're fighting, while they're blaming, and while they're building their walls higher and higher, the competition is passing us by. We keep talking about maintenance and reliability as if they're two separate things, as if reliability is something maintenance does in their spare time. But that's the lie that's killing us. Reliability isn't a maintenance task. It's a company culture. When will we learn a house divided against itself cannot stand? A factory divided against itself cannot compete. An industry divided against itself cannot survive. Now, I want to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable, as if this whole conversation hasn't been uncomfortable yet. But the discomfort is the beginning of transformation, my friends. My good friend George Williams, CEO of Reliability X, said something that should shake you to your core. You don't get to decide your maintenance budget. Your assets do. Let that sink in for a moment. Your compressor doesn't care about your quarterly earnings call when it needs maintenance. Your conveyor system doesn't give a damn about your departmental budget when it's crying out for attention. Your production line doesn't check with finance before it decides to fail. And yet, what do? We sit in boardrooms with our spreadsheets making decisions based on last year's numbers, trying to squeeze in one more quarter, one more month, one more day out of equipment that's screaming for help. Who's really in charge of your facility? Is it you or is it your assets? When you're in reactive mode, when you're running from fire to fire, crisis to crisis, your equipment is giving the orders. Your breakdowns are setting your schedule. Your failures are determining your budget. That's not leadership, friends. That's surrender. But you know what? The assets aren't the only ones being ignored. Let me tell you about the real madness. The madness that makes my blood boil. We sit in boardrooms making decisions like it's a board game, like Monopoly or like Risk, moving pieces around, calculating ROI, optimizing spreadsheets. And we do it knowing damn good and well it won't hit our personal checkbook. We cut the maintenance budget. That's not our equipment breaking down in the morning. We eliminate overtime. That's not our family missing dinner together. We delay that safety upgrade. That's not our body on the line. We make these decisions in air-conditioned conference rooms with catered lunches, and then we go home to our nice houses in our nice neighborhoods, and we sleep just fine. Meanwhile, the people on the floor, the people who actually make the things that keep this company alive, they're the ones who pay the price. And you know what really changed? You want to know when American manufacturing started losing? It wasn't when China got cheaper labor. It wasn't when technology advanced. It wasn't when regulations increased. It was when we stopped caring about our people as people. When we were dominating the manufacturing landscape, when American manufacturing was the envy of the world, we truly believed that manufacturing was the way to having a great life. And our workers believed it too, because we showed them it was true. We knew their names. We knew their families. We knew their stories. We asked about their kids. We asked about their parents. We asked if they got to go to that concert. We asked if they got a deer over the weekend. We cared. And somewhere along the way, we stopped. Now what do we ask? Why were you overcycled this past hour? If you don't start making more units, we're working this Saturday. That's it. That's all we care about. Units, cycles, metrics. And then we actually have the audacity to wonder why these folks don't have the same drive anymore. You want to know why you can't attract and retain good people? 60% of manufacturers cite this as their top challenge. It's not the pay. It's not the benefits. It's not the work itself. It's because people can feel when they don't matter. They can feel when they're just a number on a spreadsheet. They can feel when leadership sees them as a cost to be minimized instead of a person to be valued. And you know what? They're right to feel that way because that's exactly how we're treating them. We've got MBA trained leaders, which, by the way, only 0 to 3% of whom have any manufacturing background, are making decisions about people and processes that they don't understand using frameworks that optimize profit instead of people. 80% of CEOs would sacrifice long-term innovation to meet quarterly earnings targets. 80%. That's not leadership, that's cowardice, dressed up in a business suit. Now, let me tell you a story. True story that happened not too long ago. I was on site for a system go live. During a training, a young maintenance technician raised his hand. Not all of the equipment is labeled, or it's labeled wrong. How do I know I'm at the right machine? The room went quiet. Everyone knew it was true. And then we asked leadership, what's stopping you from fixing this? And here's what they said. Listen to this. They said, time, budget, we need NFC tags. It's complicated. Complicated. So we asked a simple question. What if we just print QR codes and stick them on the assets? They replied, how much will that cost? Nothing. Nothing. We trained their IT intern in 10 minutes, told him to spend 1 to 2 hours a day printing and placing QR codes. 1 week, $0, problem solved. Now, technicians scan the asset and get instant access to everything they need. Asset data, PM schedules, work order history, everything. Time saved? Sure. Overtime reduced? Yeah, why not? Efficiency improved? Absolutely. But you want to know what the real win here was? Culture transformation. Because when you remove friction from someone's job, you're not just saving time. You're showing them that they matter. You're empowering them to do great work. You're saying, I see your struggle and I'm going to fix it. That's what drives PM compliance. That's what drives quality. And that's what keeps good people around. Not fancy software, not expensive consultants, not complicated programs. Caring. That's what keeps people around. You want to transform your culture? You want to stop the madness? Here's what you do. Get down there, get on the floor, talk to your people, and fix one problem of theirs every single day. Just one. It might be the sink in the bathroom doesn't work. Fix it. But that's not a strategic priority. Bullshit. You know what is a strategic priority? Showing your people that when they tell you something is broken, you fix it. You know what builds trust faster than any team building exercise? Following through. You know what creates loyalty? Demonstrating that you actually care about the environment they work in. 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Fix the sink. Fix the broken locker. Fix the flickering light. Fix the squeaky door. Fix the coffee maker. One problem every day. And watch what happens. Watch how people start bringing you the real problem, the important ones, the ones that actually affect production, because they'll trust that you actually will do something about this. Now, I know some of you are sitting there thinking, I don't have time for this. I've got strategic initiatives. I've got board meetings. I've got reports to write. And to you, I say this with all the love in my heart, and I mean it. If it's that hard for you to care about your people, if you can't find time to walk the floor and fix one problem a day, if you can't be bothered to learn the names of the people who make your company run, then go find a new gig where you don't have to lead people. Because that's what this is, leadership. Not management, not administration, not optimization, leadership. And leadership means caring about the people you lead. It means seeing them as people, not resources. It means valuing their lives, their families, their dignity. It means getting your hands dirty, solving their problems, not just sitting in a boardroom, moving numbers around. If you can't do that, no, if you won't do that, then you have no business leading in manufacturing. Now, I know that some of you are thinking, we'll fix this with technology, right? We'll implement AI. We'll go digital transformation. We'll transform. And I'm here to tell you, technology without the right culture is like putting a rocket engine on a car with square wheels. It'll make a lot of noise. It'll cost you a fortune, but you're not going anywhere. Listen to this equation. Write it down and write it in your hearts. Strong culture times technology equals amplified success. But here's the other side of that equation. Broken culture times technology equals amplified failure. Technology doesn't fix culture problems. Technology amplifies whatever culture you already have. If you have a culture of silos, technology will give you digital silos. If you have a culture of finger pointing, technology will help you point your fingers faster. And if you have a culture of not my job, technology will help you avoid responsibility just more efficiently. Let's look at some more numbers. 51.6% of manufacturers have a corporate AI strategy, but only 35% are actually using AI. 70% are still collecting data manually. We talked about that a little while ago. Yet, 61% expect AI to drive growth. Do you see the disconnect? We're expecting technology to save us while we refuse to change the very behaviors that are destroying us. Technology is not your savior. Technology is a tool, and a tool in the hands of a divided house is just another weapon in this civil war. But a tool in the hands of leaders who care, who listen, who fix problems, who see their people as people, that's when technology becomes a force multiplier. That's when transformation happens. There's a revolution, my friends, and this revolution has a name. It's called collaborative manufacturing. And before you roll your eyes and you think, here's another consultant buzzword, let me tell you. Let me tell you what this really means. Collaborative manufacturing means everyone owns everything. Not everyone owns their little piece. Not everyone stays in their lane. Not everyone minds their own business. Everyone owns everything. This isn't about being nice to each other. This is about team building. This isn't about team building exercises and trust falls. This is about survival. Because in the world we're living in, where India is improving 5 times faster than we are, where our competitors are eating our lunch, where our children are asking if there will even be manufacturing jobs when they grow up, we have a choice. Everyone owns everything, or everyone loses everything. And I'm here to tell you that collaborative manufacturing isn't just a nice idea. It's not just a theory, it works. Organizations that see this or embrace this, they see 3 to 5 times performance improvements. They see 15 to 20% reduction in downtime costs, 25% reduction in employee turnover. Why? Because when people feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves, when they feel like their contribution matters, when they feel like they're not just a cog in a machine, but a partner in a mission, they give you their best. Now, let me tell you about a company that gets it, and this is a shameless self-plug here, but a company that was founded on a simple philosophy that captures everything I've been talking about. Think digitally, but keep a hard copy. That's Digital Thinker, and that phrase tells you everything you need to know. Think digitally, embrace the future, leverage technology, innovate without fear, but keep a hard copy. Stay grounded in reality. Remember the fundamentals. Never forget the real people do real work in the real world. Our logo isn't just a logo, it's captain bars, the rank of a captain in the military. It's a symbol. Inspired by my father, Tony Bolan, who served as a company commander within the United States Army with the rank of captain, those bars represent something profound. Leadership that connects, leadership that unifies. A captain doesn't sit in an ivory tower. A captain is on the ground with the troops. Captain knows that victory comes not from one soldier, not from one unit, but from the whole company working together. Captain knows their people, cares about their people, fights for their people. And that's what those two bars represent. Operations connected with maintenance, sharing knowledge, sharing data, sharing infrastructure, sharing purpose. Digital Thinker isn't here to sell you software. Digital Thinker is here to build a bridge between operations and maintenance, a bridge between people and technology, a bridge between boardroom decisions and shop floor reality, a bridge between where you are and where you need to be. Let me tell you something that should be obvious, but somehow got forgotten along. Maintenance is the foundation of operational excellence, not a cost center, not a necessary evil, not something you do when you have budget left over. The foundation. You cannot build operational excellence on a crumbling foundation. You cannot achieve world-class performance with world-class neglect. You cannot expect your equipment to give you its best when you treat it like it doesn't matter. Sound familiar? And you cannot expect your maintenance people to give you their best when you treat them like they don't matter. Listen to these truths. Every $1 invested in preventive maintenance returns 5 to 8. Unplanned downtime costs 10 times more than planned maintenance. World-class organizations achieve 95% planned maintenance. The average American manufacturer operates at less than 65% of capacity. Do you know what that means? It means we're leaving 35% of our potential on the table. We're running a race with one hand tied behind our back. We're fighting a battle with half of our army sitting on the sidelines. Why? Because we've forgotten that maintenance isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about ensuring nothing breaks in the first place. And it's about valuing the people who do the work. Now, let me give you a framework, a way to think about this transformation. We call it the maintenance excellence ecosystem. But before I explain the technology, let me be clear. These pillars are built on a foundation of people. Without caring about your people, without fixing their problems, without showing them they matter, these pillars will crumble. So pillar 1, maintenance is the foundation. This is where it starts. You need systems, you need structure, you need a digital backbone that can support everything else you want to build. Hexagon EAM provides that foundation. Enterprise asset management that gives you a centralized information, streamlined work orders, and visibility across your entire operation. Next, we have Hexagon J5. It ensures seamless communication between maintenance and operations, digital shift handovers, real-time intelligence, and a shared understanding of what's happening on your floor. But here's the key. These systems should make your people's jobs easier, not harder. They should remove friction, not create it. Remember the QR codes? That's what this pillar is about. Making information accessible, making work manageable, making people's lives better. Our second pillar, the intelligence wing. But a foundation isn't enough. You need intelligence. You need to move from reactive to predictive, from calendar-based to condition-based, from guessing to knowing. Hexagon's asset performance management gives you predictive analytics that can reduce unplanned downtime by up to 30%. It tells you what's going to fail before it fails. An Accelerator KMS captures the tribal knowledge that's walking around in your veterans' heads and turns it into actionable intelligence that everyone can see. Because when your best maintenance technician retires, their knowledge shouldn't retire with them. And more importantly, when that veteran is still with you, you should be learning from them, valuing them, preserving their wisdom. That's respect. That's caring. That is leadership. Organizations with predictive maintenance capabilities achieve 20% higher OEE than those stuck in reactive mode. Fun facts. And finally, you need to embed excellence into every process, every procedure, every action. ETQ Reliance is a quality management system that ensures consistency, standardization, and continuous improvement that becomes a part of your DNA. Because excellence isn't an event, excellence isn't a project, Excellence is a habit. And when excellence becomes a habit, when it becomes part of who you are and how you operate, it becomes inevitable. But excellence starts with caring, with fixing the bathroom sink, with printing the QR codes, with knowing your people's names. Now, I know that some of you are thinking, this sounds great, but we already have systems. We already have software. We already have investments made. We've got to figure it out. And I'm here to tell you, we're not here to rip and replace. We integrate and enhance. That's digital thinkers' difference. You don't have to throw everything you've ever built. You don't have to start from zero. You don't have to convince your CFO to write off millions in existing investments. We build upon what you have. We connect to what you have. We enhance what you have. Modular implementation means you start with what you need most and then expand as you grow. Seamless integration means our solutions work with your existing ERPs, CMMS, and other enterprise systems. People-first approach means technology that adapts to your people, not the other way around. The additions of J5, APM, AKMS, and ETQ doesn't mean you have to replace your asset management system. We build upon what you have, not strip it away. Because transformation isn't about destruction. Transformation is about evolution. And it starts with the people. So here we are at the moment of decision. I've shown you the madness. I've shown you the cost. I've shown you what the path forward could be. Now the question is, what will you do? Will you go back to your plant tomorrow and continue the same patterns that got you here? Will you keep accepting mediocrity? Will you keep fighting the same internal battles while your competitors pass you by? Or will you make a different choice? The revolution starts now, not next quarter, not next year, and not when the budget allows. It starts now. And it starts with simple things, things you can do today. This isn't a suggestion. This is a call to action. Orders before you. Order 1 tomorrow morning. Walk the floor. Not to inspect, not to audit, to listen. Ask 5 people, what's one thing that makes your job harder than it needs to be? Write down every answer. Order 2, this week, fix one of those problems, just one. It might be the bathroom sink. It might be a missing label. Might be a broken tool. Fix it and tell the person who mentioned it that you fixed it because they matter. Order 3, print QR codes for your unlabeled or mislabeled equipment. It doesn't have to be QR codes, just label your equipment. It costs you nothing. It takes hours, not months. Do it. Watch what happens. Order 4, this quarter, create a cross-functional team with equal representation from operations and maintenance. Not a committee, a team with power to make change. Give them one mission: identify and eliminate the 3 biggest sources of friction between departments. And order 5, starting today. Learn 3 names of people you don't know. Ask them about their families. Ask them about their lives. Care about the answer. Order 6, every single day, fix one problem on the floor. 1, every day. Doesn't have to be big. It has to be real. Time for talk is over, and the time for action is now. And the action starts small, because small actions done consistently with genuine care transform cultures. My friends, the future of American manufacturing depends on what we do today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Every revolution begins with a single decision. Will you be part of the problem or part of the solution? I'm asking you, no, I'm calling you to join this revolution. But this revolution doesn't start with $1 million investment. It doesn't start with a strategic plan. It doesn't start with a consultant. It starts with you walking onto that floor tomorrow morning, caring about people. It starts with fixing the bathroom sink. It starts with printing QR codes. It starts with learning names. It starts with listening. And it starts with people. Because when we come together, when operations and maintenance work as one, when technology amplifies culture instead of replacing it, When leaders actually lead instead of just manage, when everyone owns everything instead of protecting their little kingdoms, there's nothing we cannot achieve. The madness stops when we decide to stop it. The transformation begins when we decide to begin it. The revolution succeeds when we decide to fight for it. And it all starts with caring about the person standing in front of you. So I'm asking you today, will you join us? Will you be part of the solution? Will you help restore American manufacturing to its rightful place as the best in the world? Not through technology alone, not through strategy alone, not through systems, through people, through caring, through leadership that actually leads. Choice is yours, and the time is now. Stop the madness.